Hello. Again, I'm Uri. I know we haven't seen each other too often during this online class, but as you know, I like to introduce you to new technology. We've gone over Camtasia, which is screen capture. We did Audacity, which is a podcast, which means sound only, and this is for our Mac friends, an iMovie, which is applicable to PCs as well. And I wanted to share with you some insights into education online with an emphasis on the fact that we tend to look at education coming from the paradigm of teaching and learning. But I would also like to suggest that all of us are subject specialists. So I'd like to encourage us to look to our subject specialty as also a way to learn about online learning and teaching. So we don't only have to come in devoid of our subject via the more generic education, but we can, for example, and I'm going to use my professional association as an example, come into the whole online learning and teaching through the librarian paradigm because have a master's in library science, and the American Library Association just had their annual convention here in Chicago, so I want to show you some things that I learned there as well as in some of the professional journals. And I'm holding up a friend right here who is meant to show some things on copyright, and she's a bit of a parody of a librarian, obviously with the bun and stuff, but my point is I wanted to bring along somebody fun, so it's not me by myself on the screen at first. But let me put her down and say again, last week, which was the last week in June, the American Library Association had its convention in Chicago. And I wanted to show you how conventions, and there's poster sessions here in Chicago, but some of them had to do with a variety of topics, but there were a couple poster sessions which I felt had to do with online teaching and learning. So again, we're bringing this up to show how we can use professional conferences to learn about online learning, not just subject specialty in our subject, but in how to teach it. Okay, so just for example here on page 20, there is, okay, here is a workshop or a poster session on, and you won't be able to see it necessarily, so I'll just read you a little bit. Summoning better results after the implementation of a discovery tool. And a discovery tool, of course, is like an online database. So we have, within the context of library, a look at how we might use online databases to further our profession. So that's an example of online learning and teaching coming at us from a professional orientation and not only from teaching. Okay, we also have here, I'm going to look here, I made a few notes, and again, these are poster sessions of professional activity. So we're going to go to one more by way of an example. And here is a poster session on engaging students with interactive online and face-to-face library orientations. So this would be a workshop on, and I'm just trying to see if you can see it a little bit, but this would be a workshop on how we might use online orientations to help students learn about something. And again, it's not within an education workshop, but within a librarian context. And I think also that we might look at professional journals. Again, this is a library professional journal, but there's history professional journals, there's biology professional journals. And many of these will have articles on online teaching and learning. And here, for example, and this is the most recent one that talks about the convention in Chicago, but on page 66, we have an article which reviews books on bridging the digital divide. So many of these books would be appropriate for us as teachers and as learners. Here's a title called The New Digital Scholar, Exploring and Enriching the Research and Writing Practices of Next-Gen Students So clearly we see the online teaching and learning applications of this. So again, professional journals. And I wanted to show you one other professional journal, not necessarily related only to libraries, but Online Searcher. I want to show you, we have here an article, and again, this is a monthly, which we wouldn't necessarily think of in terms of just online learning, but more on searching. But here we have an article called Lifeline Learning on the Web, and clearly that has applications. So, by way of this iMovie, I wanted to bring to your attention the fact that online teaching and learning does not have to only come to us from the educational focus, but also we should look to our own professional organizations by way of annual meetings, trade journals, and other vehicles to learn and forward our understanding of online learning and teaching. See you online.